Oh, hey, as you can tell by the thumbnail, which is this my first pure clickbait title and thumbnail? It might be. I think it is. What a milestone for Zoo Reviews. But honestly, I jinxed the hell out of myself because I just released a week ago a video comparing the Switch 2 to the Legion Go S. And at the time, 1 week ago, 7 days ago, the Legion Go S was a better deal because Switch 2 just had really one game, Mario Kart. Unfortunately, for me, that video came out one day before Donkey Kong Bananza released. If you didn't watch the previous video, the too long didn't read was that the Switch 2 was good and it would be good in the future, but right now it didn't have enough games, and the Legion Go S was better because of the much bigger library. I did not anticipate Donkey Kong Bananza being so good. I knew it was going to come out, but I didn't anticipate the game coming out and cracking me upside the head with a barrel. Although, given Donkey Kong's history, I should have anticipated it. That is entirely on brand for the giant gorilla known for being naked, wearing a necktie, and hurling barrels at people. Don't get me wrong, Mario Kart World is good. It's really good. But for me, it didn't feel like a core launch title. In my mind, a Nintendo system should have a genre-defining game as a launch title. My NES came with Duck Hunt and Mario Brothers, and I apparently ripped the side off. And my Super Nintendo came with Super Mario World. Heck, even the Switch 1 had Breath of the Wild. So in that way, Mario Kart World was just eh. But man, Donkey Kong Bananza, there is a reason it is getting the 10 out of 10 treatment from all the normal sources. It's good. It's launch title, genre redefining, actually more of a genre mashup and redefining type game. So let's do a quick review of Bananza and show everyone how I was wrong and a stupid idiot last week. Everyone likes when Zoo is wrong and they can make fun of him, except me. It makes me feel bad. So, Donkey Kong Bananza was developed by the same internal team at Nintendo that did Mario Odyssey, and it really shows. It's also the first internally developed Donkey Kong game in over 20 years, so it's really cool to see Nintendo embracing this IP. If you played Mario Odyssey, there was a small segment where you could dig through cheese. In order to do that, the devs put in some limited voxel technology to allow for deformable terrain. They apparently thought that stage was cool, because that's the main gimmick of Bananza. So you're Donkey Kong, and you and all the other Kongs are working in a big mine. It barely makes any sense lore-wise, and you kind of have to do some mental math to link the random minecart stages in Donkey Kong Country as the background to a heretofore unmentioned Kong-based mining industry. So Donkey Kong is yearning for the mines and digging up gold and bananas from deep underground when the bad guys show up. They knock the whole mining island underground, and from that point on, you're journeying to the center of the earth. It makes no logical sense at all, but it's fun. It's classic Nintendo. Just don't worry that there are clear blue skies 300 meters below the ground. Just shut up and dig. Digging is the best part of this game for me. I know other people said they got bored with it and started playing it as more of a straight platformer, but I'm a couple dozen hours in, and I'm still just absolutely hulking out whenever and wherever I can. I've been putting all my stat boost into increasing my punch power, and I'm just taking down mountains like it's my job. The digging and deformable terrain are the crux of what makes Bananza, for me at least, one of those genre-defining Nintendo games. Like I just touched upon, you can play this game as a straight platformer. You can follow guide markers and go to your next destination, probably beat the game in 10 hours. You can make time jumps, thread your way through obstacles, and learn patterns to defeat bosses without taking damage. The game lets you do that, and it's pretty fun, and it's completely fine to play that way. But the game is also basically Mario Minecraft. So if you're a crazy person like me, you can just punch your way under, around, and through all the carefully laid out platformer parts and essentially carve your own path to the goal. Same goes for bosses. The game is designed in a way that you can beat the bosses with the starting amount of health and no power-ups at all. But it's also entirely possible, and super fun, to grind for bananas for like 6 hours, have a bunch of skills unlocked, and then beat the crap out of a boss in your base form. That's amazing. I love the freedom, but I also love the fact that they designed the game in such a way that you can play it straight if you want, or just go completely bananas. Or bonanzas. So, skills and forms. Much like the Power Moons in Mario Odyssey, in Bananza, you're collecting bananas. They learned a little bit though, so nothing is locked behind a specific number of MacGuffins. You don't have to stop your flow and double back to get 4 random bananas to go to the next plot point. Heck, there's probably going to be like 0 banana runs coming out from speedrunners and Let's Play people pretty soon. But if you do collect a ton of bananas, you can cash them in for skill upgrades. They're all pretty basic, like increasing your base health, powering up your punches, lowering cooldowns on your powers and that sort of stuff. And if you want to min-max, you can have a super tricked out Donkey Kong pretty early on, because those bananas are everywhere. You even have a ground slap move that acts like sonar, so finding them is pretty easy, and it's also serendipitous. Like, you're punching some rocks and you find gold, so you ground slap to collect all the stray nuggets, but then you accidentally do a sonar ping, and you see a banana further along. So you start digging that way, and you find the banana. But also maybe you find an entire underground path that you wouldn't have encountered without wandering around in the first place. And the whole game is like that. It is so explorer-friendly and fun and charming that you just want to wander around and find stuff. I am not a completionist. The collect X number of trophies and stars and stickers platformers of the late 90s, I didn't like them. I mean, it wasn't like they weren't my favorite. I just didn't really like them at all. But I have no trouble wandering around and looking for stuff in this game. It almost has that same kind of just one more turn vibe you used to get with the old Civilization games. Like, I fall asleep playing this game, not because it's boring, but because I don't want to stop playing, and then my body eventually shuts down. Another huge part of the appeal is the nostalgia and the clear love and reverence that the creators had for the older Donkey Kong games. There are a ton of Easter eggs, but none of them really feel forced. They mostly happen organically, and you're always pleasantly surprised. So there aren't a lot of groaners in here. I could probably do a half-hour video just on the ones I've found so far, but my favorite one, I think, is the Nostalgia Country stage on the Hilltop layer. It's just a flawless recreation of the first stage of Donkey Kong Country, down to the music, and the map, and the barrel placement, and it's amazing. And it's just one of many of these things. The game really respects its roots. It also respects the fact that it cribbed a lot from the Switch Zelda games. Like, basically the first level in the game starts with Donkey Kong falling through the sky with his arms wide open, like Scott Stapp, as the terrain and text slowly slides past. It's the game saying, yeah, Zelda was amazing. We took some ideas from it. It's fine. And it is fine. The game swipes from Zelda and Minecraft and all the previous Donkey Kong games, and it's fine because it takes all those amazing things and it makes something new and fresh. It honors the nostalgia without being reliant on the nostalgia, if you know what I'm saying. And some of the nostalgia isn't even obvious, like the loading screens. There aren't a lot of them because the game is pretty well optimized, but the loading screens all have these cutesy drawings of Donkey Kong, and they felt familiar to me, but I didn't grasp it quite at first. If you think about it and you start looking at older stuff, it's basically the same style as the early 90s comics and game manuals that they used to have for Donkey Kong. I mean, just look at the manual for Donkey Kong 94 for Game Boy. It's a callback, but it's never in your face. Like, if you're a kid, they're just goofy drawings. If you're an aging dad like me, you get a flashback to your old DMG and reading the manuals because there weren't any tutorial stages back then. Another bit of nostalgia is Pauline, your sidekick. She starts off as a talking purple rock, which is weird, but then you break her out of the shell, and oops, it's a weirdly young version of the character that's been in Donkey Kong games since before I was born. Yes, that's right, this is the same damsel in distress from the original arcade game in 1981, except now she's spunky and she helps you out. The actual mechanic is that she can sing, which is a callback to pretty much every Pauline iteration since that first arcade game, but the singing serves a purpose. Her songs can unlock certain tunnels or plot advancement obstacles, so she is very clearly a required partner in the game. You can also play as her if you plug in a second controller, but it's more of player 1.5. The second player can independently control her singing, and that's about it. It's not great if your wife is interested and wants to play, but honestly, it's super clutch if you have kids because they can play at the same time you're actually playing. I just realized I said skills and forms like 5 minutes ago and we never actually talked about forms. So, forms. You have a grand total of 5 forms that you unlock as you play. You can't miss them since they're handed out by these super huge elder animals. Like, the Kong one is just a super giant gorilla, like the size of Godzilla. You think he fought Godzilla? The ostrich one is a giant bird whose beak is wrinkled, which is weird, and so on. You get the idea. Anyway, the elders will give you a form after you complete their record quests, and each one gives you new powers or modes of transportation. Kong Bananza is the first one, and it just makes you bigger, it gives you Super Saiyan hair, and you get really strong. It's the only way to break through some materials, so you'll be swapping into this form a lot. It also trivializes early bosses, so use it as a crutch if you're stuck, and don't use it if you want a challenge. Then you have Zebra Bananza, which lets you go faster and do a charge dash instead of rolling around. You get Ostrich Bananza. It lets you fly around a little bit and ride air drafts, which is helpful. But I also got really good at just punching my way up the side of a cliff, so I only used it when the game made me. There's an Elephant Bananza, which gives you a trunk that lets you vacuum up stuff and spit it out as projectiles. And finally, a Snake Bananza, which lets you do crazy spring jumps and freeze enemies with your glare. You build up your transformation meter by collecting gold, and I never really had a problem because I was smashing everything and I always had a full meter. If you're playing as a straight platformer, then you might need to be more judicious with your smashing. I don't know. My playstyle is basically just the Incredible Hulk. I'm gonna smash everything. Once your meter is full, you start beating your chest and Pauline starts singing, and then you power up to whatever form you want. It's cool. It's largely optional outside of scripted stuff, and it's just a fun extra tool in your tool belt. Or you could be like me, max out your punch so normal Donkey Kong can just solo everything on his own. I don't want this to be a 30-minute review on a Donkey Kong game, so there's a ton of stuff I'm probably leaving out, like how you can actually use mouse mode to sculpt stuff, or some of the specific moves, like how you can pick up slabs of rocks and surf on them. But the game is amazing. It has layers, like an onion, or the weird hollow earth that Donkey Kong apparently lives on in this specific game. There's just a lot to talk about, a lot to love, and not really a lot to complain about, even if you're a jerk like me. That being said, I am a jerk like me, so let's complain about the very few issues I have noticed. First off, the camera can go completely ham, especially if you're digging. Third-person cameras have been an issue since, like, Mario 64, and the completely free-form voxel-based destruction makes it 10 times worse. So the camera can get wonky sometimes. It's not game-breaking, but you do have to break your flow and manually rotate the camera with the right analog stick. There's only really so much they could do though, and like 90% of the time, it works 100% of the time. FPS is also an issue, but luckily it's super intermittent. Since I play like an absolute berserker, I will occasionally have a ton of crap blowing up or cascading around me as I punch my way through a literal mountain. In situations like this, or sometimes when you have a swarm of colored bad guys, who I almost think are a callback to Dr. Mario, but I'm probably wrong. Anyway, in situations where a bunch of enemies on the screen, you can kind of feel the FPS dip. It snaps back right away, and it's always rare, but it's still kind of a bummer, especially since it's only 1 month after this system released. These are internal Nintendo developers. They should already know enough about the system to avoid FPS dips. But here we are. Just a hair worrisome. I honestly just want to get back to the game, which, by the way, has post-game stuff as well. I haven't even gotten into that. Super cool, but I want to play the game. I want to stop recording, and I want to go back and play it. So, let's do a real quick, what did we learn? And we learned that I jinxed myself when I said the Switch 2 isn't worth it, because like 48 hours later, Bananza dropped, and it's amazing. It's effectively a 10 out of 10 game. I would probably give it like a 9.7 out of 10 because of the camera issues and the FPS dips, but let's round up and we're going to say 10 out of 10. It even makes me want to go back and play Odyssey again, which is amazing because I really wasn't in an Odyssey that much. It has taken my Switch 2 off the dock and into my hands, which wasn't something I could say last week. I'm going to have to make an earnest effort to focus on retro handhelds so I can keep doing reviews and Game of the Month and that stuff, because Bananza is that good. It's making me feel less bad that I'm shipping my Legion Go S back to Lenovo, actually. Speaking of that, the Legion Go S is still super good. One game doesn't invalidate my entire thesis, even if it is an amazing game, because on the Go S you can play a massive amount of AAA games and indie stuff, like this goofy Gaucho game, which I'm almost certainly saying wrong. It's like Link's Awakening meets Stardew Valley meets Animal Crossing. It just launched, and I'll leave a link in the description. I mention it because I enjoy it, and it's also a well-done genre mashup game like Bananza, at least so far. I haven't really played a ton of it, because I've been playing nothing but Bananza. So yeah, we learned that Donkey Kong Bananza is amazing. To be honest, this game should have been available to be bundled with the Switch 2 at launch. It's on the same tier as that Duck Hunt Mario combo cart for the NES or Super Mario World for the Super Nintendo. You are going to associate this game with the Switch 2 for years to come. Maybe my kids will be playing this in 30 years when I'm in the old folks' home, and they're looking towards retro stuff because they too feel the cold breath of the Reaper getting closer. Boy, that got grim. Eh? You like that sweet joke? If you like this sweet video, be sure to like and subscribe. We don't do a ton of game reviews. We're more of a hardware review channel, so let me know what you think in the comments. We didn't have a channel when the Switch 1 came out, so this is kind of a learning experience as we have this new device and as new games come out for it. In the past, our dedicated review videos have pretty much tanked, and I gotta buy the games myself, and they're usually games that I like. So if you want to see more actual game reviews, make sure to share the crap out of this so I get enough likes that I can at least offset the $60 to $70 to $80 cost of some of these Switch games. Oh, by the way, Donkey Kong's cheap. It's only like $64 at Costco. And get yourself a hot dog. Anyway, I'm gonna go back to playing more Donkey Kong because it's consuming my life. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you later. Goodbye.